Devil's advocates whisper in the hall, where justice wears a mask and truth begins to fall. Every thread they pull, every lie they weave, in the courtroom's dance, who's left to believe? Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight. A photograph fades where the truth once stood. Blurred lines between the bad and the good. The scales they tilt with every silver tongue, while the broken cry for a song unsung. Black robes sway like shadows on the wall. One wrong word and the mighty fall. Who's a sinner? Who's a saint? The jury's out, but the verdict's faint. Oh, the devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end. The devil's in the details, hiding in plain sight, innocent until the gavel steals the light. True crime echoes through the hollow night, fighting injustice with no end in sight.
Wow, what the fuck's happening? I don't know what's happening. YouTube is having problems now. StreamYard's having problems, but I think we're here. So welcome to another Crimes After Dark. Thank you for showing up, even though YouTube took a giant shit. Apparently, a little bit like we just literally got YouTube back fully, I think, while we were going live. There was still a page on the front that said something went wrong on YouTube for everybody, and it was a nationwide problem, it looked like, or maybe even worldwide, who knows. But anyways, it looks like they've got their shit together, and it looks like we're slowly getting our shit together. So, hey, let's do this. Again, Crimes After Dark with special guests, Logan from Bronx Tales True Crime and Dago from True Crime Cafe. They're backstage in that order. We've got 1-1 backstage. We've got Robin backstage. We've got JJ, State of the Deep. We got so many people, we can't fit them all on fucking screen. Uh-oh, I shouldn't drop an F-bomb for the first like 3 minutes. But anyways, it is what it is. It'll be all right. I've won every appeal on YouTube. YouTube, by the way, is doing pretty good. They let me get away with talking about true crime like an adult, and I really appreciate it. That's what we do here, even though I have parental discretion is advised on the screen. All right, let's go ahead and bring our panelists up quickly, and we'll get right at it. So, Logan, how are you doing tonight?
Excellent. How are you?
I'm living the dream. It's good to see you.
I was zoned out looking at the chat.
Well, I should really look at my chat as well. At least it's working. And somebody said Steve Gonzalez paid that bill to have YouTube shut down so we couldn't talk about things. I thought that was hilarious. But
Mandy said she blames Steve G for the YouTube outage. Yeah, blame Steve G for everything.
It is what it is. Anything special? And did you have problems? You said you were streaming earlier today and had problems as well.
Yeah. Well, I noticed on my end when I had my live today at 5:45 for about an hour or so. I noticed on my end it looked real like glitchy and like my mouth wasn't matching my words and things. But I don't think it ended up being like that on their end, the viewers' end. Just on my
kind of
end.
like it is when you do a lot of drinking.
Yeah.
Your mouth and your thing doesn't work together. Anyways, I don't know. Sorry, I'm just. You said my mouth's not working with my brain, and I'm like, so you're drinking? I don't know. Sorry, that's what I do. It's what I do.
I mean, I am drinking. It's just
right. Nice mug, by the way. Nice mug. All right.
Thanks. My work sent it to me.
Hey, Dago, what's up? You're up.
Forget about it.
How you doing?
Dago and easy.
And here's the it's a fugazi. That's what's going on with YouTube, but it's back.
Yeah, it is back. It seems like it's. Although when you guys said it was back, I hit refresh and I still got a blank white screen, so I'm not sure if it's entirely back. But you guys said it's back. I'll trust you that it's back.
Well, I know.
And
when I tried to load my stuff for my Devil's Fireplace back there, I had to go back in. It took me out, so I had to go in under a guest and load this up. So it took me a minute, but yeah, they're doing whatever. Steve, leave YouTube alone.
wow. And I apparently watch too much sports because I hit refresh and all I've got is a bunch of Seahawks stuff and some hockey players fist fighting and shit all over my YouTube. So it's working and I'm distracted. I watch some fights. But anyways, all right, let's have anything special before I bring on my next panelist. Anybody anything special today for you?
I had a great show with the Custody Queens and Ron Funk. That's all
Very
I
cool.
did today. It was a great
Well,
show.
that's enough. If that's all you did today, you did good.
Yeah, I have to put a new chair together tonight when I'm done with this. So you guys might be prepared, folks. Somebody sent me a massage chair to be able my actual chair that I sit in here. It has a massager in it. So if you see me,
Nice. Is it going to vibrate? Are we going to hear it vibrating during the show or anything? Or
that might be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah,
if I start
right,
making weird faces and Google eyes and like rolling my eyes in the back of my head, then, you guys will understand what the hell's going on over here.
It was just
All
a
right,
random person that sent you a massage chair.
Yeah, it was a random person.
One of my subscribers, they love me.
That's amazing.
Oh my God.
They do.
Yeah.
They love me. They love me.
Nobody. sent
All
me a
of Jago's
vibrator, so-
subscribers, can you subscribe to me? Because I want one too.
Right.
Yeah, oh, that'll be great, Logan. That way, if we both get one and we're sitting here going,
We're both sleeping. Special
Okay,
guest
yeah,
is sleeping too.
exactly.
you need to stop. You need to stop with the faces. All right. So let's put it away. I don't even. I'm gonna have that etched into my memory. I gotta know. No. I'm gonna bring in one last so he can do his monologue right at the end and get his family off to Never Land. Sorry, we do that a lot on this the backstage. All right, let's do Robin. How you doing? You're muted. You're muted.
There we go. Oh my! Don't tell me I'm gonna have mic problems.
And oh my God, she just dropped out again. That was not her. She unmuted herself, and now YouTube just StreamYard just muted her. What the fuck?
StreamYard was messing with me earlier.
Try it again, Robin.
Hello.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
For a moment.
For a moment. Yeah. We'll see how long that lasts. Anyway, I'm well, other than all this technological fuckery.
Technical buffoonery.
How is it? Yeah, how are all you?
Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
Her mic keeps muting. What the hell? Like it only happens to her though. I don't know what's going on with that. I feel like something on her
last week or the week before.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
I keep turning her back up, so it is. We'll give it a shot. But Robin, for some reason, there's this popping sound, and you go down to 0. I don't know what. It's like something on your computer is fucking with your volume setting. I don't know, but
I don't know. But I'm
there now.
I'm here now, and that's all I know. So
Bronx said
all right.
she paid that bill.
I paid that.
bill. That's right, I did.
All right, let's hurry up and get JJ and one up and get this kicked off in a proper fashion. JJ, what's up?
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. If we can get past the technical buffoonery, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Hi, denizens and meatballs and mods. I'm upgrading my gear.
Uh-oh.
That's in the works. I got a new webcam that I'm gonna get. I'm gonna get an extension so I could hook my computer up to the Ethernet, so it's not on Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's a
Perfect.
little stronger.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I
That'll be
upgraded my whole video editing suite. I switched. I got rid of Premiere Pro and I got the Apple Creator Suite.
Oh,
Nice.
So yeah, I've been
You're
getting
going
stuff
full
done
bore.
this week. Yeah, it's good because I have previous experience with Final Cut Pro. I didn't have any experience with Premiere Pro, so we'll see how that all goes.
Yeah, Premiere Pro, all Adobe products, in my opinion, has a steep learning curve if you're not used to their world, and really no consistency between their apps, because like different people work on each one of the apps and they all behave differently. Like it'd be nice if once you understand Adobe's way of doing things, you understand all their products, but that's not my experience, at least.
Agreed.
All right, let's get one up on stage, and how you doing this evening? Good evening.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Hi, One.
Good.
So, what do you think? You want to do us a monologue tonight?
Sure.
Do it.
All right.
Is it good to be alive in the den?
Always.
On a Tuesday night. Juliana, my daughter, Jackson, my son, hope you're feeling better, and my beautiful wife. Love you guys. Have a good night. Keep your voice low. This isn't the kind of anger that wants attention. Doesn't raise its voice. It doesn't need to. It's the kind that settles in after you've been told, again, that everything makes sense. After explanations are delivered with confidence instead of proof. After questions are labeled disruptive. After silence is framed as closure. That's where this begins, because some stories don't hold up when you stop rushing past them, because timelines strain under their own weight, because details are minimized until they vanish, because responsibility has a way of dissolving into procedure, policy, and that's just how it works. We don't accept that here, not loudly, not theatrically. We apply pressure. Slow pressure. Uncomfortable pressure. The kind that forces a story to either stand or shift. This isn't about outrage. Outrage burns out. This is about persistence. About sitting with the parts no one wants to revisit. About noticing how certainty hardens long before clarity arrives. About recognizing when confidence is used to end a conversation, not answer it. We don't rush to blame. We don't rush to defend. We hold the record open. We read what's buried. We pay attention to what's missing. Because systems don't fail loudly. They fail quietly, behind closed doors, with language that sounds reasonable until you slow it down. If that restraint feels threatening, it's not an accident. Controlled scrutiny always is. So stay here, in the stillness, in the tension. Let the calm do the work. This is Devil's Advocates. No shouting, no spectacle. Just questions applied carefully until the truth has nowhere left to hide. And with that, live from New York, it's Tuesday night.
All righty, we're off like a herd of turtles. Let's take this off of turtles. Turtles. Oh, I just tried to take that off Joe's face. Robert put it back on Joe's face.
That's where it belongs, right?
Yeah.
Get in my face.
You guys are nuts. Look, I got nothing today. I did work today, but I have nothing special for the show. I got nothing.
We'll just sit here and look at you.
We can't hear
do it live,
guys. We're gonna stare at you guys for 2 hours.
Yeah. So the only thing that I have that I worked on is I was reading. By the way, I'm gonna take up a bone with a couple of people and kind of tongue in cheek. So when the original lawsuit came out from the Gonzalez family, and well, I shouldn't say the Gonzalez family, from all the families against WSU, really filed by the Chapins in Washington State, but all the families joined. But anyways, when that happened, I was swamped in work, and I asked several people, hey, is there anything important in there? And it seemed like the answer generally was not really, whatever this. And I know we freaked out a little bit about some of the autism stuff, the comments that people with autism spectrum disorder are more likely to be stalkers and killers, and which we kind of fucking got angry about. But I finally sat down and started to read through the document word by word, and there was some surprises in there that I was surprised that nobody told me there was some surprises. Like the one that I caught was the Gonzalez is saying that Brian Coberger was observed a day after the murders with a big scratch on his face. And I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, we've seen the selfie picture of him in the shower. There's no scratch on his face. So where are they getting that Coberger had a big scratch on his face? Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
It came from his classmate that's also a TA
Kai.
in his interview. Yeah, Kai, the Asian guy.
Okay.
They talked on the phone like an hour every day. Brian used to go to his dorm room, like they were really good friends. And he's the one who told police that the next day Brian Coberger had a big scratch on his face. I was like, don't you think we'd all know that? It'd be all over the news if that was true.
It would be all over the news. It's funny that it's funny you mentioned that, Logan. Is that the same guy? I don't know if you heard me. I did a rant one time when I was reading police documents, whatever, and they had an interview, I think, with that same guy. And he kept telling the interviewer all the time how good and close him and Coberger are while throwing him under the bus over and over again. I really like the guy. We're really close, but he did this. And we're really close, but he also did this. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want friends like that guy. That guy's like, I'm his good friend. I'm going to throw him completely under the bus.
That's what he did. That's what he said. That Brian was, good friend, like Logan said, on the phone all the time. But he was selfish. He would throw his work all at me and stuff. I'm like, what the fuck? What are you, high? Come on,
friends. Yeah. What's up? One with the hand in the air.
He's also full of shit because they have all the photos that he took. He took photos of himself, and there's no. I think the only thing would he have like a little Band-Aid on one finger or something on one of the photos.
Yeah, something like that.
On his face. There's no scratches on his stomach, on anything.
Nothing.
Well, what's interesting too is during that interview, that kid is actually reading off something, and he doesn't know English that well, so he's asking what the words are during the interview.
Like a prepared script almost.
He's definitely reading something and didn't know what some of the words were. Yep. So it wasn't something he wrote.
He extended a lie and said that Brian told him it was from a car accident. What?
Wow. Right. And again, there's no if that scratch was there, we would have had a million photos of it all over the internet as proof positive that he did it. And here's the other part that stunned me. The first paragraph started out with saying Coberger was stalking women at WSU, but they were falling short of saying he was stalking anybody at the 1122 King Road. And then as the document goes later and later, it says he repeatedly stalked the girls at 1122. And I'm like, so once again, how do you go from the prosecution saying there's absolutely no evidence of stalking? We, quote, really tried hard to make a connection between him and anybody in the house. And we could, to the family listing in there that Coberger systematically and repeatedly stalked the girls at the house. And I'm like, somebody's not telling the truth. Either don't know how he even picked the house, or to the family saying he was clearly stalking the girls over and over again. Like it just, the whole thing just is a shit show.
It gives WSU even more ammo. Tick off things one by one. There, you like there. It's like, to go ahead and go to court.
Amen.
Yep.
So escort girls to their cars because they were afraid of them. If that's documented, the university, right? But
things with that is the timing of when right. I mean, if someone does some kind of offense or whatever it is, there's different restraints on that. But if did like 10 people come forward after he was already arrested,
right?
What's the context and saying that he would, like, what is it that you're saying that he was stalking them, but are these people who, there's a lot more data that has to be gotten from this. So these people that they just thought he was a hard grader, and you need a lot more info.
It's funny because now that you mention it, it is very common when somebody gets up in something and their picture gets on TV, remembering, I had an encounter with him before, and this, blah, 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 and all this. And like you said, the timing of when those stories are 15 minutes of fame. You know what? I had an interaction with that guy, and it was creepy.
Yeah, so someone could have had like just a small little debate with him about something on the news or something, and they don't, all of a sudden, no, he threatened me. And
the show I did today with Custody Queens and Ron Funk, Ron Funk is an appellate attorney. For those of you that don't know, that same thing got brought up. We talked stuff. They're going to have to prove between these things. Okay. It's going to have to be proven. And if they can't prove it, that the panel or the judge or whoever the judges are, they're going to toss that shit. It's going to get thrown out at some point per se, because there's no plausibility with that. There's no link to anything with that. And it's basically going to be stated like, why are you bringing this up? This has nothing to do with this or this. So in turn, that's something I'm kind of looking forward to.
Me too. And actually, they put Brian Coberger on a performance improvement plan. So they did their duty within what they were supposed to do as far as being whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to show, a pattern of behavior, and that the college, failed to.
Well, let me point out some more fuckery I think that they did. They tried, in my opinion, they cleverly tried to point to statistical facts. It was a procedure that they had that we're working with at WSU, one of the many manuals they point out, that said, when you reprimand somebody for behavior, you need to be careful how you do it, because it can embarrass them and cause anger, and then they can retaliate and commit violence because they've been shamed and embarrassed. So they almost tried to say, you didn't take care of it, but when you did take care of it, you just angered him and made him go kill people. And I'm like, you can't have it both ways. You can't say you addressed it, but you didn't address it, or when you addressed it, you made him angry and he killed somebody. And on top of all that, the letter he got being dismissed from the program, he didn't get until the murders were already over and he was on his way to Pennsylvania. They literally cut him from the program after the murders. So you can't say them cutting from the program caused him to lose his shit and go kill somebody. Like they've got some problems, it seems like, with the timing.
And they're going to point out, I was informed today that they're definitely going to point out, if that's true, what you just said, then why didn't he go after anybody at YSU or WSU? Why did he go to a completely different state in a completely different college and go after people he had no idea who they were, instead of the people that he was having these bad interactions with? That's going to be a big deal they're going to bring up, I was told. So that could shut it down right there.
Well, also, go ahead, JJ.
I was just going to say, regarding the scratch on his face, I mean, you don't think investigators went to the professors and the people that he interacted with at WSU after, they got onto him to say, like, did he have any marks on him? Did he look like, unusual? Did he have any injuries? Right. That would have been something that would have come out very early on.
His doctor.
The mainstream media would have been all over that.
And I believe he went to the doctor pretty early on too.
That Tuesday, right after
he went, and there's no report of any weird scratches or anything. So it's
what it felt like to me. And it's funny because when I read it, I thought to myself, if the families can prove half the stuff they said, it does look bad for WSU. But it also simultaneously felt a little bit like throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. Like they literally just threw a bunch of charges up there and allegations. And they're like, well, if some of these get shot down, some of these are certainly going to stick and we'll have a case. So it's kind of felt like that. Like throwing everything at the wall, that every rumor they've ever heard about him, throw it at the wall and see what sticks when they.
And it'll be funny is if the WSU deposes one witness. If all they need, which I believe, obviously we haven't heard from him because he's under silence. Cy Ray. All we need to hear is Cy Ray. Imagine that they have one witness that they call up, that they bring in to depose, and he gives them info proving that BK could not have been at the house, was not at the house. Wouldn't that open a can of worms?
And it's very likely that might happen. I was informed today. I was told that's likely to happen, possibly. So,
yeah, and I don't know. I mean, and again, there was one line. I think I asked Dago to, like where it was exactly. Somebody told me where it was. The line that kind of says something to the effect of there may be other perpetrators that are still being looked at, and if that's the case. Then all of the stuff you're saying that it's all Coberger and we should have stopped him is, it's immaterial. Like you couldn't have stopped a group of people if it was a group of people kind of thing. And so I don't, here's the thing. The document starts out by saying, WSU, we acknowledge Brian Coberger did these murders. And so, but then they have to, like they legally, I think, have to, because he literally built. So they have to say,
Right.
well, we'll acknowledge what he said he did.
Yep.
But
Mhm.
almost like you're saying the same thing, but it didn't happen the way you said it happened.
And their response says that
Yeah.
about other entities being responsible for damages incurred. There
Yeah.
it is. So
I mean, I know it's not the same, but I look at it the same way as, well, didn't U of I have a duty to protect their own students?
Yeah.
And didn't Dylan and Bethany have a duty to get their
Tell the
friend
truth.
help in a reasonable amount of time? Like,
Yeah.
that's kind of the way I look at it. Like, why just WSU and not anybody
Well,
else?
and here's the thing, Logan. I think I think they're going to sue U of I. They're gonna start with WSU first.
Yeah.
So I won't be surprised if the families, after they settle the WSU one, whether they win or lose, the next lawsuit will be against U of I. So I suspect the families are going to sue them as well. And if they lose either one of them, then they're going to sue probably Moscow Police Department and the prosecution for bumbling the investigation and costing them money trying to get the truth.
I asked about that today because
Yeah.
there is a statute of limitations on that stuff. But
Okay.
I was informed as of right now, they can't just go sue Latah County, Moscow PD, U of I, blah, 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 whatever. But here's the thing, this WSU lawsuit can open that back up to give them the ability to do that, which is another great thing. So, there's a few things I think, guys, this is going to open up a whole new can of worms completely. So
Right. I mean, like you said, like, because somebody else is talking about the kind of the statute of limitations on suing Idaho. But like you said, if during the trial at WSU, new material evidence comes out, it can open up the can of worms to go after University of Idaho, because something that came out during that trial at WSU, they point the fingers at Idaho, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, well, now that we know Idaho did something, we reopen Idaho.
So I think that's WSU's strategy to that aspect, that they're going to say, you know what, you want to come for me? Well, this didn't happen, but guess what? It did over there. You need to head that direction. So that's where it's going to go.
I think there's a strong chance that they're going to be able to prove that Ashley Jennings and Mr. Santa Claus over there played games with Discovery.
I can't wait to watch that.
And I hope that they, have to, they get whatever legal ramifications or penalties to come after them, because they definitely played games with the Discovery stuff.
She lied. She blatantly lied.
Yep, she lied, and and
they said,
make them prove. Go ahead, JJ.
No, I was just going to say they could go after MPD because they should have been, on the ball. They were in that area, and they had patrols that were designated for that, for the college area, but they know that WSU's got the money, and so that, to them, I think it's just purely strategic, and their attorneys, coach them to do that, and they're not going to allow anything into the narrative that deviates from BK's a guy, he did it himself. Because anything else raises questions about him. Because like you were saying, DA, if there's other perpetrators, that chips away at the official narrative. And then it raises a bunch of other questions. Well, how come these other potential perpetrators weren't investigated earlier? Then it has to open a whole other can of worms.
Yeah. And I almost guarantee you, this was brought up by, I think it was Dr. Turvey or whatever, that I almost guarantee you the families were told, the best thing you can do is shut the fuck up and let us do our jobs. We got the guy. Trust us, bro. And they did. Most people would trust law enforcement when they say, look, we've got this. The best thing you can do is stay out of this. Don't talk to anybody. Don't take any media reports. We've got it. Trust us. We will get retribution for you. And then when you find out later on that they bundled the investigation, you're like, but you told us to shut the fuck up and not talk about it.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Something else.
Speaking of trust, they want us to believe that everything that Dylan said. They want us to just completely believe her blindly. But if we do, that's fine. But if we do, then we have to believe her when she says, I've never seen that man before, when they showed her a picture of Brian Coberger.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right.
Very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, so
Something
many
else-
little things like that we forget. So many little things we forget about those kind of things. That's going to come up. That's going to come up in trials on civil trials on these things. I think so.
I wanted to ask you guys something tonight too. I remembered I wrote it down. I had to go find it, but there was a statement brought up by one of the. I think it was Kristen from the Custody Queens today, or earlier. And I went through these and I didn't remember seeing it. And I guess Harsh Reality had done a segment on this. And so she sent me the screenshot and I looked at it and there it was. But at some point earlier on in the case that I guess Steve was approached by somebody pulled in his driveway, even in fact, and said that if you go the direction of Dylan and Bethany and you hammer away at that, something's going to happen. So he was threatened. And I never heard this before, even though I went through those text messages and stuff like that. But does anybody remember hearing that anywhere?
Yeah, it wasn't it. He did say that in the text message, like somebody pulled in my driveway or something.
And then
Yeah,
they
I do
threatened
remember
him.
that.
Said
Mhm.
that you'd need to leave this
That was
alone.
with Brad Thompson, right? Or
Norton. Brad Norton.
Norton.
Brad Norton.
yeah,
Yeah, it was Brad Norton. And I had gotten those messages, but I never saw that part of it. So that like just flipped a switch in my head immediately. Like, wait a minute. So because I remember,
it's true. It's true, and that was I think yesterday Harsh was going over that, and I think what he was hitting on with covering that again, even though it happened so long ago, was that seemed to be the pivotal moment where Steve G did a complete 180-degree turn.
Okay,
Like,
and so that makes sense. But like, if that's
Right.
the truth, you didn't report this to the police. You didn't say anything about this. That's to try to prove to try to have truth in this statement.
Right.
You would think there would be a police report filed, something like that, to back this up. You know what I'm saying?
I don't believe Steve G. I bet you anything it was somebody just turning around in his driveway to go the other direction.
That's what the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
And then
I've been saying this for the longest time. I don't trust him. I just it has nothing. It is my gut feeling, and I have to always follow my gut, and nothing ever, unless it's blatantly gets disproven, I always trust my gut, and I always felt something was off about him. I've said this numerous times. That crazy segment on that news show early on, before BK even came into the picture, where that former law enforcement, former special forces guy said, he said that he thought Steve was guilty. Now, that could be him picking up on a vibe that's a shady vibe.
Yeah.
Right. And that guy got wiped from the scene so quickly. You never heard from that guy again.
Yeah.
But I think that the vibe he gives off is it's just weird. It's just, I don't trust him.
He literally said that Brian Coberger connected to 1122's Wi-Fi.
Right.
Yeah, he said it
Once
touched
again
on the Wi-Fi, which was another lie. Never happened.
Yeah, another lie.
And then he said, I must have read it wrong. Shut the what?
Did you see this other thing about the mail? Apparently they had like some kind of warrant for Kaylee's mail.
Yeah.
I saw a few creators were talking about that.
That came out early on.
Because apparently this was about possibly a stalker or someone made a threat or something.
They said they had to meet with investigators because they had to sign something.
But that's interesting. But that's odd.
With their mail, yeah. But
it's I don't know, it's kind of odd.
I mean, it's like what we're supposed to believe law enforcement, but then we're supposed to believe the family members. Then we're supposed to believe this. Like, I don't believe anybody anymore.
I know.
Logan, I listened to
your accounts.
Oh, I'm sorry, Robin.
Oh, that's all right. I was just saying there's too many conflicting accounts from so many different areas that how are you supposed to know which way is up? And that's why I hope it does, this lawsuit with WSU does go to court, because we might find out some more truth. I don't know that we'll ever have the complete truth of everything, but we might actually find out some more things that are actually real.
Right. Yeah, that's what it was, Amanda. A warrant for UPS. Thank you.
The warrant, right.
What were you going to ask, JJ?
I just said I heard some of your show today, and you and I guess some of your chat were talking about how the Bethany and Dylan and a lot of the other people that were interviewed, like early on, they were never like, what happened? Tell us, what happened to our friends? Like, what's going on? Explain, and then when they did their follow-up interviews, they were just like, oh, like people had no emotional impact whatsoever.
It
Nice.
might be
So
real.
strange.
It might be real. It might be a dream.
It's very weird.
It's very strange.
I just don't trust anything with this case. I think there's a bigger picture that's even bigger than we probably realize. That is why they needed to cover shit up. And I think when you have national security stuff, like I always say, you always have to be suspicious, because that you're getting into a whole other universe of potential corruption when you're dealing with national security. Plus, you're dealing with their ability to cover everything under the blanket of national security, which destroys transparency. Essentially, I don't know if people know this. I'm sure they do now with the Epstein files. They can basically put out fake documents. If it's in the interest of national security, they can do literally anything they want if it's covered under national security.
Very true.
Yeah, that's terrifying, because again, what does it leave us if at the end of the day we can't trust public documents, public disclosure process? Like if they can lie about anything they want, it's like, well, then why do we even fight these cases? Because you can't get the truth anyways. But hopefully that's not happening.
That's the slippery slope. It's like the government and the intelligence agencies, who have very suspicious tentacles that go into a lot of other areas that logically they shouldn't, but they do. They can just, if something's deemed national security, there's no boundaries what they can do once it is covered under national security, especially if certain agencies are involved. Then it's all bets are off. We could be, I'm not saying that I 100% think this is specifically what happened with the Idaho 4, but a lot of the stuff we've been given, even with documents, could have been doctored if the power elites within the intelligence community and national law enforcement, they could tell any police force, you're going to do X, Y, and Z. They have to do it. If it's under the blanket of national security, they have to do it.
Really quick, let me address this comment that's been on the screen for a bit. We've talked about this, Jesse Lynn, 5846. We talked about this again. One's NYPD, and he about lost his fucking shit. And he's like, "What do you like? How do you walk in there and let a guy walk around on a quadruple homicide carrying a knife, and you don't fucking demand the guy drop the knife and you secure him? Why do you not open up doors of the house that are locked and not break it open? You don't need probable cause to break that door open on the crime scene. You don't know that the killer's not still secreted in the house somewhere." Like, none of that went logical, other than to say, well, if you already know what happened, you're not worried about certain things because you already know what happened. But that whole thing with Hunter Johnson carrying a knife at one point when the police came in is just mind-blowing. Yeah, that wasn't handled differently. I already had a problem with why the witnesses weren't separated out front and were allowed to stand there next to each other and get their stories straight without being separated and asked when you've got people who were in the house during the murders and you're not separating them to find out what their story is to see if it's consistent. How have you already ruled? Tell me, I'm going to lose my fucking shit. Tell me how you've ruled out the two survivors as being involved in the murders. How did you already fucking rule them out? And you don't possibly think that, hey, who's actually here at the scene? Maybe they did it. Maybe the guy that came over next door and walking around the house with a knife did it. No, you ruled all those motherfuckers out immediately. How the hell did you do that? I'm sorry.
Don't forget that night at the police station and give all their interviews. then they say, okay, guys, we're gonna put you all together in a hotel. You can have a party tonight and make sure your stories are all straight too. You know what I mean?
Did you guys see?
Yeah, but even
what did
worse
you
than
guys-
that. But even
Oh,
worse
go
than
ahead,
before they even went down, didn't they go? A bunch of them went to Emily's apartment. I don't
And
know how many of
showered
them. A
and
bunch of
changed
them took a
clothes.
shower, and
Yeah.
and you don't think they were talking about anything? Of course they
Let's
were.
let's watch
Yeah.
all the evidence.
What were
off
you
the
saying,
pod.
JJ?
Well, I was going to ask you guys. I saw a video yesterday, maybe. I think it was Sherlock Holmes. Does that sound
Yeah.
familiar?
Yeah.
Where now I don't. It looked, in my opinion, it looked like an AI generated video, and it was supposed to be a surveillance camera across from the grub truck, showing Kaylee and Maddie going over to the Gower's Prius.
car. Yeah, I saw that.
It's inside the
And-
bank across the street.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So did you guys see that?
Yep, I saw.
What did you think about that? Because he brought up something. I'll say this, and then I would love to hear what you guys think. Remember, we talked about one night where I was like, we don't even have confirmation that both the girls went home, right? Because we don't see them entering the house. We just see the car pulling up. And he brought up in that video, like, it looks like Maddie didn't get in the car. She stayed standing over to the side. What do you guys think about that?
There's two videos, JJ, that are out, just to give you a heads up. I don't know which one you saw. There was one that came out that had been looked like manipulated because there was some weird things with it, and where you can tell that, like, all the people that are standing at the grub truck, there's nobody there. There's no feet underneath or around anywhere. They're just not there. Then there's the other one that was actually released, and you see them get in the car. So I don't know which one you may have seen, but there's two that I've seen that are out. One's not
okay, because the one that I saw, in my opinion, looked like AI.
Yes.
Yeah, and he was showing. They were also showing. It looked like there was someone standing, like blocking. That was like blocked by the lamppost.
Yeah, yeah,
like yeah. I saw that. I saw that video.
That's the one I think that is actually AI. It's been manipulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, that's
It's
fucked up.
I know, and the AI shit's fucking driving me nuts because I don't know what to. So there's a photo, and I've been meaning to talk to you guys. It's funny, I've mentioned it before, but I didn't tell you what I saw. Now I'm going to tell you what I saw. There was a photo that someone showed. It was a hallway shot looking down towards Xana's room where Xana and Ethan were at, and in the doorway was a golf bag, like golf clubs in the doorway. And I'm thinking to myself, did we just all fucking miss that? And then I was like, okay, well, then people started, well, you remember the story? Hunter Johnson said he couldn't open the door for some reason, that something was blocking the door. And I'm like, so if Xana was far away from the door and up against the far wall from the doorway, what was blocking the door? Was it a golf bag? Like, and how did we not like, and then I'm like, AI, did someone just fucking make an AI image and stick a fucking golf bag in there so they can fucking promote the golf bag story or the golf club story?
It's the same thing they did. They put a shadow person standing in the doorway in one of those videos down there too. And it's like, stop messing with this shit, guys. Come on.
I want to bring up one thing since DA brought up this issue. I messaged one. I probably messaged Robin and DA a while ago on Discord about this. Remember when those photos dropped and you guys told me which one to look at for Xana?
Yep.
I spent a lot of time, I'm sure we all did, with those photos. And one of the things I cannot get past is a picture of Xana. I looked at pictures of her, bunch of different pictures of her. The distance between the mouth and the nose on that picture. Now, people say, oh, she was bloated. She was laying there for hours. That's not going to change the distance between your upper lip and your nose, right? The mouth was open. So I looked at that picture many times, and every time I see it, it seems to me like the distance between the nose and the upper lip is much bigger of that. And then people will be like, oh, it's Xana. She was wearing a gray shirt. My point is, and I promise I'll make this quick and I won't go too deep down any rabbit holes. If there were bigger things at play, do we really believe that a national security umbrella doesn't have the capability to release crime scene photos that are doctored? We're talking about we're talking about DARPA. Their technology, their AI technology is 30 years ahead of what citizens have. That's a fact. That is a fact. And to remove that from the equation, that's a whole situation there were national security implications, and everything else from day one has been seemingly like fuckery.
Yeah.
I mean, from one thing to the next, bullshit after bullshit. To me, it is not a big stretch to imagine that they released photos that were doctored to stick with a certain narrative.
Real quick, I'm seeing in the chat a couple people saying, I haven't seen this photo. What picture? I don't know. I want to clarify it for you, but I don't know if you guys are talking. If you guys are talking about Xana's body that was seen in the pictures, a lot of you may not even know that happened. There was a period of time when Idaho State Police released a bunch of photos, and within hours they pulled it back down. Part of the reason is they apparently didn't completely clip out some of the bodies, and there was a couple of images that showed bodies, and that's what we're talking about. It was only up for a little while. Yes, we have the photos. We got all the downloads that were from the original thing, so it's available, and you can get them if you still want to. But it's funny because going along your line, JJ, about the whole manipulating photos, this is the thing. Now they've championed, Olivia Gonzalez has championed they want to pass a law that no one's allowed to see bodies in a crime scene photo. Like you're just not allowed to see it. The public's not allowed to see it. And if they go to that extreme where no one's allowed to ever see crime scene photos because it might contain a body, then no one's ever going to be allowed to question the official narrative. And it's again, a dark day for truth and transparency, in my opinion. Dago, you had a point?
Yeah. You're muted.
You're muted. You're muted.
I thought we were doing the lip reading thing tonight. Sorry. I didn't.
That's next show.
So do you think, again, I know I'm jumping in a rabbit hole here, but do you think that it's possible that those photos were released on purpose?
I do.
Yeah.
Well, what do you mean by that? So
like the accidental photos that we saw within that dump that were not supposed to be there, supposedly the reason why they yanked it down. Do you think that was done on purpose for some weird ass reason?
So I've got thoughts about that, but I don't know where. So I guess I'll just tell you what my thoughts about that, because it may not be where you're going with it. I have felt for a while that Idaho State Police are not on board with the fuckery that Moscow Police Department has done. And they have tried to subtly leak little things out to the community, hoping that we'll catch it. And then do the whole oops, my mistake, and hoping that sleuthers out there will break the case. I almost feel like that's happened several times.
Okay.
The first time was Brian Coberger's name being listed on a document as a suspect on the 5th of December. And they're like, oops, take that back. That was a mistake, a computer error. Is it a mistake, or is somebody trying to pretend like they didn't know they made a mistake and let people start digging into it?
Because if you pay attention, it's only happened with ISP. Thank you. So whenever you're done, you can keep the other half of my brain till Friday, but I need it back at that point, Lee. Okay. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Yeah, because we do that a lot. We start like we probably almost could finish the sentence with each other, but that's exactly where I was going with that. I've been wondering this because this has happened more than once, you guys, and it's come from ISP every time it happens. It's weird. So just a thought, and thank you, sir, for completing that thought, because that's exactly what I'm thinking.
I agree. Like it seems like and again, look at the police documents. Idaho State Police ask different questions than Moscow. They didn't believe. I swear, Idaho did not believe Dylan's story. They said, "Is there something you're not telling us? Your story doesn't make sense." You don't get those kind of questions from Moscow. Moscow was all on board with anything fucking Dylan wanted to say. Idaho comes in, they're like, "So you cleaned up the crime scene? Like, is there something you're not telling?" Like, They're not on board. Idaho's not on board with what happened in Moscow. And I think it's one of those political things that they need to be really careful about what they say. The only exception I would say to the "it's all been Idaho" is this one, Dago, because I thought the same thing. But what about the mistake, if it was, of releasing to Jules the 2:30 to 3:30 screaming video? Like, you almost think that was a big fuck up on somebody's part.
I mean, and it's not that far. Listen, remember when they just released the new documents were released with all the security numbers and everything in it too?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe there's somebody that's over here too that's like, this is bullshit. I'm sick of this. I don't want to be a part of this. And maybe they're both doing it. It could be coming from both directions. You know what I mean?
Right.
I only these type of things only come up so often with me because I can logically support that there was some other bigger things going on. If like, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, okay, if there were 1 or 2 or 3 inconsistencies in this case,
right,
that were horseshit, obvious fuckery, I would say, yeah, there's just a small town, college town. These mistakes can be made. People are not, we're not dealing with like the highest level investigators in the world. But when everything along the line is suspicious, turns out to be bullshit, they don't question the 2 surviving roommates hardly at all about the 8-hour delay. Hunter Johnson's allowed to walk around with a knife in his hand at the crime scene.
Oh, God. Don't get me started.
Oh, by the way, one of the victims' parents is now the spokesperson for Otham Labs, and one of the other victims' parents is now in almost a $500 million lawsuit with WSU, and they act suspicious.
Don't forget, Christie pulled a piece of major evidence out of the pocket of a sweatshirt that shouldn't have been in her custody.
Yeah.
Okay? That receipt for Grub Truck, that should be in evidence logged. And she had it in her hand, clear as day, showing it to the world.
Yep.
Why is that not logged into evidence, folks? Tell me.
Yeah. It's just, so again, and oh, by the way, on top of all of that, there was a multi-agency task force in the area, and there were national security implications in a little college town in northern Idaho.
Homeland Security is involved, and
So I'm not suggesting, my bringing that up wasn't suggesting that nobody got killed or injured. Mine was simply suggesting that the release of those photos that were taken down quickly after the fact could have been strategic. Like, to your point, Dago, that could have been a strategic maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly why I said it, because, and it's not hard to believe this, guys. Like Lee said and was pointing out, ISP did this, ISP did that, but then Moscow did this too, and Moscow did that. So why is it hard to believe that there could be people there right in the middle of this that are just like the rest of us?
Well,
going, no,
and
no.
let's talk about the Moscow mistake. The Moscow mistake appeared to be that maybe, if it was a mistake, the audio they released. But I keep getting told that audio was released by somebody who didn't normally do that job. That the person who normally does the job was out that day, and somebody. Right. So again, was that the cover up to purposely leak something out and just, well, let's just say it was somebody that wasn't normally working here or whatever, or did they literally wait until somebody was working there that day who would leak it because, like it makes you feel like it's a controlled leak, like somebody waited for an opportunity and leaked it at the right time.
Yes,
please, guys, relook at those pictures. And look at pictures of Xana, and look at the face, and tell me if I'm wrong and I'm seeing it wrong. Then it could just be a perception thing. The distance between the upper lip and the nose, to me, does not look like Xana.
I thought
I agree.
See that much? I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought it was just the side of her face we could see.
No, you can see a nose and
you can see the nose
and a mouth.
Oh, and I have no idea what I'm looking at because I'm looking at it right now. I cannot make out what I'm seeing.
I'll go back and check it out.
The face is looking upward,
up at the ceiling.
Yeah,
you could see a side angle.
I could say.
Are you looking at Logan? Are you looking at 953?
Oh, I get it now. Okay.
Yeah,
I always thought it was just the side of her face with wounds on it.
If
And
you
when
don't
those
look at it,
photos first came out, Robin actually, I remember you saying it
Yep.
right away.
I did not and still do not believe this is just me, my opinion. I think it's Ethan. I because if you look at the bed, the spot where the redaction is way too small for a man Ethan's size. You're talking 6'4". So unless they had him curled up in a ball, I mean, there's no legs dangling anywhere. I mean, and I'm not trying to get graphic, but I'm sorry. I just, that's my belief. Again, my opinion. I could very well be wrong, but I don't see Xana in that picture. But again, that's just me.
They said that Ethan's feet were hanging off the bed, and we don't see that in any picture.
Nope.
Yeah, Robin, you and I talked about this when that stuff first dropped. I said that doesn't look like a female. It looks like a man.
Yeah. It's even like the breadth of the shoulders and the size of the arm.
Yeah,
it
the arm's
looks
huge.
too masculine to me.
I agree. That arm is big, man. And everybody would, when I commented on this, they were there for hours. It's the body swell up. Well, that's not going to change the specific, like, dimensions of somebody's face.
Change, but it does. They do bloat, which does cause, puffiness and swelling per se. But like you're saying, it's not going to change like facial features. That's still the same face, period.
And to me, under here looks more like a mustache. So, a lot of people say, well, it's dry blood or whatever. But to me, it looks, because at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, Ethan had a mustache, correct?
Yes.
I believe he had a lot of
okay.
I was told, yeah.
Okay.
All right,
real
quick, it looks to me like a lot of people haven't seen the photos we're talking about. So let me tell you, we're not going to show it. Let me tell you a few things. One place to find it is my Discord channel. Robin, can you post the link to the Discord channel?
Sure will.
In our Discord channel, we have a section called Crime Scene Photos, and it's by request only. We don't let anybody come in there unless you request it, because we want you to understand you can see something that you might not want to see. So you have to specifically ask for it, but it's not going to cost you money. It's not going to cost anything like that. If you go there, we have the original dump of all the photos. It's number 953, for example, is one of them, which is the one we're talking about. And I'll guarantee you, even when you go to look at it, you're going to not see it at first. You're going to be like, I don't see what you guys are talking about. You have to look super, super hard. It's on an extremely small edge of the bottom of the photo, where they have a black box redaction, and they missed part of it. And you can, once you see it, you can't unsee it, but it takes you a while for your brain to see what you're seeing.
And
if
you have a way to magnify, go ahead,
Robin.
No, I was just going to say, and if you go look at them, please be advised, they are graphic. Okay, there are some things. I mean, even though you're not seeing, deceased people in the vast majority, there is a lot of blood. So if you cannot handle that,
I don't remember the numbers. Maybe
don't look.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why you have to ask to go there in our channel, because we want to make sure you're aware that what you're asking for. Other photos that were popular that we didn't talk much about tonight, and I don't know if you guys have the number, is there was several shots that had some light bulbs that were strung along a wall, and unbeknownst to them, the light bulbs actually contained a reflection of a body in the bed. And so we've gone and you blow them up and you can see a person in the bed plain as day. It's one of the victims, we believe. Although some people say, it's probably a photo, it's a reflection of the photographer taking the picture. You can do your own deduction on that. But so when people say some of the body photos were released, it's a little tiny sliver of Xana in one of the photos, and then a couple of reflections and a light bulb that seem to show a body. There is gruesome images, however, of hair and scalp and blood and stuff like that all over the place. That's kind of gruesome. But as far as bodies go, they're very, very hard to see until you know what you're looking for. And then once you see it, you can't unsee it. You'll know what we're talking about.
And according to the Gonsalves family, there's four photographs within that drop that show something they're not supposed to. So I don't know the other two, I haven't found them. I wasn't looking for them. We found these ones on accident. But trigger warning, like Lee said, you may think you can handle it. Make sure you can. That's all I'm telling you, because
What's up, Logan?
It's very rough.
How the heck did Hunter Johnson walk in there and look at Xana, take her pulse, and not like
Right?
what?
Yeah. How do you take her
Right?
pulse and not know what happened? Like, yeah.
There's
And no
nothing, like,
footprints, and there's no prints.
blood. Yeah, no
No
footprints, no
footprints.
blood,
The
no
footprints,
nothing.
crazy.
I checked to see if she was alive. Why would you even do that? You can look at her.
Exactly. The lies.
Right.
Of all
And he
of them.
The story
and he
makes no
also
sense.
right, and he also lied about not going upstairs, because if you
Right.
watch the interview with him and then you watch the interview with Emily, I believe Emily is telling the truth, and she said the knife was at the top of the stairs that Hunter grabbed, but he says that he got it from the kitchen.
In the kitchen counter. Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty big difference. You would know whether you got it at the top of the stairs or you got it in the kitchen. I mean, why say that?
And again, a proper investigation would have questioned Hunter about things like, you checked the pulse, explain to me what you did. Like, there's no indication they ever questioned. Like, it's a shit show. And again, my only answer is, you don't ask questions you either already know the answer to or you don't want to know the answer to. They didn't ask a lot of questions because they had already decided what happened, and they just didn't want to. They didn't want to have anything come out that would question here's what we're going with, guys. Here's what we're going with. It came in through this sliding glass door, and this is whatever, So
I want that saying on a mug. So
yeah, here's what we're going with. By the way, for those, as a little small shameless plug, we're putting together a storefront of some things, and we have some fucking amazing looking shit that
we do.
Our artists have put together. Holy shit! I can't wait to. I literally want to buy one of my fucking sweaters like right now. Like, I want one. But anyways, but it's coming. We'll show you that later for those who care about it. But it was I about peed myself when I saw some of the cool stuff that we were putting together. So yeah,
they look great.
Thanks to Amanda, who does amazing work for us in the graphics department.
Her. She sure does.
All right. So does anybody want to come up? Does anybody want to come up and ask a panel or make a comment or just throw some shit out like spaghetti and see what sticks, like other people do in this case? If you want to come up and ask the panel a question or just shit out some stuff and then leave the screen and leave us in chaos, this would be a good time to do that. So I want to throw a link out there to make sure people can have a chance to grab it. While we're waiting to make sure there aren't any Idaho 4 questions coming, we can start thinking about other cases that you guys want to talk about. I might have some things to talk about in the Lecher County. Again, I want to keep some focus on Lecher County.
Sure.
That is moving in a fast direction, and we want to talk a little bit about that. And other things. In fact, what I'll say is I'm a little bit concerned. I had heard, so I called the FBI. I think I said this before. I called the FBI in relation to my concern that Sabrina Atkins in the case in Lecher County might not be properly prepared and whatever. And I wanted the FBI to hey, are you aware of all the murders that are being reported that people are talking about, all these, and they blew me off. They took all my pertinent information. Who are you? What's your phone number? Where do you live? What's your address? Thank you very much. We'll call you if we want to talk to you. And I realized, I'm like, shit, I'm now in an FBI database as somebody who called in and annoyed them with useless information. And then I was told by people who are the locals that they call the FBI all the time, and the FBI does the same to them. Thank you. We'll call you if we want to call you, and nobody ever calls. FBI is not interested in that case at all. Now, maybe that's because nobody has said the magic words that is required for triggering the FBI into action, or maybe they're silently working on it in the past and we just don't know about it, but nobody seems to care about it. That's what it looks like. All right. Do we have any takers for coming on to the show with anybody? Or questions in the chat?
I listened to the Defense Rest earlier. She had an interesting show with the different women that were telling their horrible stories and some of the stuff they had to go through. And I tell you, after listening to some of the stories, I mean, I almost want to take a flamethrower and burn the town down. It's just insane because they're basically discussing how they're talking about one or two guys, like, oh, these guys aren't so bad. Like, you know, they took me in when I was 13, 14, and, you know, and then I
They're
got
not so
pregnant
bad.
or whatever. And I'm like, not so bad. Like, what is going on here?
Are those the good guys in that county?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jesus.
All right, we do have a guest backstage, Crime and Chaos. I'm going to go ahead and bring Crime and Chaos up and see what they have to say to us. Are you there?
Yeah. Hey,
Hey.
how are all of you guys?
Hello.
Living the dream.
Evening.
How are you, Lori?
Hey, I'm good. I had to take a mental break for like 3 days from the case.
Only 3
after-
days?
I don't blame you.
Yeah. it was after seeing like a title on a thread about Ethan and like, you know, how they took him out of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't watch it. It was just
saw
so
that.
sad. Yeah, and I don't know, just all of it all combined. I took like maybe it was only a 2-day break. I don't know, but I just missed the chat and just missed all of you. So it was brief, but yeah. It's been good.
Yeah.
though.
Back.
It really
Welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. And you bring up a great point, which is that people, you bring up a great point, which is that if you need to take a break, because this kind of stuff burns people out. And for your own mental health, from time to time, I hear people say, man, I just had to check out from true crime for a while. And I get it. Like, it's not talking about murder and death and fuckery and things that we can't do anything about day after day wears people down emotionally and things like that. So
yeah, Lori, it's good to take a break, but some of us have a boss that makes us work 30 hours a day. So
Yeah.
I didn't say you had to take a break.
Oh my gosh, you don't get to 1-1. We're here for you though. If you need to vent or you know. Gosh, that's a good point. Sorry.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I don't get to take a break either because I'm on almost every freaking day. So I don't think it's funny because I've worked harder since doing this than I probably worked at any job. I know that my former bosses do not like to hear this, but I think I'm working harder now than I've ever worked in my life. So, but here's the thing. I enjoy what I'm doing. And if you enjoy what you're doing, it is true that if you enjoy what you're doing, you don't work a day in your life. So while I'm working all the time, I enjoy it. So there's that.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we all have each other. That does help. What I wanted to mention when you guys were talking about, do we think it was on purpose? With the ISP drop, I really, really do feel like it was intentional. And why I say it is the bulb reflection. That I believe you can really see both Maddie and Kaylee. I do feel that that Maddie is clearer in that photo, and here's why I think so. If you look closely, you can see a red gouge, and then I feel that this was released intentionally because if you also look at the comparison of the partial autopsy that was revealed or sent out as well in unison with the photos. Maddie, her autopsy revealed way more details of the brutal attack on Maddie. They in the Moscow release, they called it a cut from her nose to her mouth. And I remember thinking, I remember that specific because I remember thinking, I hope that Maddie was already gone at that point. And it happened maybe when Kaylee was being attacked. So I remember thinking it wasn't very significant. But when you look at the ISP partial autopsy release, it also says that her nasal cavity was penetrated and that her tongue was penetrated. So that means that gouge that you're seeing on the face, which, like I said, I this is why I believe it's Maddie. It's so deep and it's very prevalent and it's, you know, obviously so dominant because it pierced her nasal cavity and her tongue, and it went all the way down. Yeah, and it's very brutal, and this is one of the other reasons I needed a mental break. You know, because Moscow PD wanted to hide that from the public. Yeah.
No, I agree, and it's I appreciate your observation. Before I have another guest backstage, so we're gonna let you go in a moment. But before we let that go, I want to ask you. You said you think it was intentional. What do you think? You know, is what is your theory on why it was intentional?
Well,
is it the same thing we're saying, which is that somebody there wants it to kind of get out to what happened?
I feel that they want the public or just everyone in general to know that, hey, Moscow PD is feeding you guys all a line of bull. You know, I know that, you know, the family, you know, Karen Laramie did the lawsuit for no photos of the bedroom, and I get that, but I just, you know, there's more to it. You know, I don't know how Moscow PD was able to get Karen Laramie to do the lawsuit and say, hey, don't release any more photos.
Oh yeah, you've got a great point. I think the families are encouraged by the police department to, hey, you know what you should do? You should tell people you don't want to see those photos. It's traumatic to you. We'll support you. We'll help you write that request. That's because they don't want it coming out, and they'll pressure because the families are the ones everybody will listen to. And I think that happened as well. The sarcasm part I'll do before I let you go is I'll say my cynical nature says, don't worry, if this ever gets to the point where Moscow police department is having to face questions about what they did, they're just all going to retire or resign anyways and move on. So nobody will be held accountable. As soon as they realize it's going to start blowing back on them, they'll just all fucking resign. Everybody will step down. Everybody will take their pension and leave, and they'll be like, hey, we don't work here anymore, so take it up with somebody else. So
But the good thing about that lawsuit is that it kind of it forced the magistrate to rule on certain things. So because they brought that lawsuit, they had to release photos that showed other stuff that we've wanted to see. For instance, like Dylan's room and whatever. And if you read the, you know, the whole ruling on that, the ruling is that we're allowed to see, you know, they can't hide, you know, underwear and all this different stuff that they wanted to hide. Like we're allowed to see it. If it was considered part of the crime scene, part of the evidence, we're allowed to see it. So that made it so that we didn't have to have the someone from the public had to go. The magistrate just ruled, you know, on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to let you go, Crime and Chaos. Thank you very much. Got another person backstage, the Mavens backstage. I was curious about this. So thank you, by the way, for coming on and sharing your thoughts with the group. And if you need to take a mental break, do so. But otherwise, come back.
Thanks, guys. Great.
Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm not sure what this comment was. It kind of, I would love to come on the panel, but I was told it's not a good idea. Who told you it wasn't a good idea?
We're not gonna. We won't bite your head off. Don't worry. Don't worry. Logan will keep Bronx. The Bronx won't bite you. Don't worry.
All right, let's bring the Maven up on screen. We've had her up before. How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing okay. Good to see you all again.
Yes,
good to see you.
Welcome back.
What's up in your neck of the world?
Well, I've got an update about the experiment we talked about before.
Yeah.
So it would be $600 for a cow instead of a pig.
Okay. Yeah.
And $40 for the knife.
Yeah. Yeah, we've given it a lot of thought, and it, you know, some people were like, well, you know, because I mean, obviously we talked about this before, like, you know, how do we recreate the fighting back part of whatever? You can't. So what we can do is, like, you can just see number of stab wounds. Can it be done in the amount of time? Just stab wounds alone, right? And then you just factor in how much other stuff. So it's an interesting experiment. And I know a lot of people. I was surprised at the number of people who are really willing to back that idea and to talk about that idea. I don't know how much would a cow simulate.
Well, that's what my question was going to be. Is that a pig, as I stated last time you were here, a pig would work well because it is the closest thing animal-wise to human.
Yeah.
Cow hide is different, therefore, after, because it's got
sure.
leathery, okay, and it's not as
Right.
as realistic as it would be to human skin. So I don't know how well the comparison would go. You know what I mean?
With a cow, it would have to be skinned first.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
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 Is a pig not available to that? I take it, or
I can get a cow for a 6-pack.
It's just more difficult. It would be maybe 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours for me to go to that place, to go to, it's on the other side of town. And whereas this is like 15 minutes from me.
Understood.
So it's, yeah.
That's definitely a very interesting thought-provoking experiment, in my opinion.
Yeah. So the two factors that I'm interested in that I think you would be able to figure out with the experiment is a minimum amount of time, right? And then also the exhaustion level of the person.
Yeah.
Definitely. At what point does he start getting exhausted, and can he finish it?
Sure.
And also would be interesting too to see if doing this, where obviously like this is kind of like a simulation, would be what kind of bruising and stuff, because I assume there would be some kind of bruising on the bottom of your hand from, or some kind of mark, some kind of from doing that many,
Also, I think multitude. I think if you're going to do something like that, you should use different weapons also to see what weapons provide which injuries. Do you know what I'm saying? And how they would work if you're going to go that far with it. That's just an opinion I have. So
the difficulty, the difficulty comes is it's almost impossible to simulate all the random factors. For example, fitness level, right? If Coberger really did it and Coberger was a runner and jogged on a regular basis, his fitness level might be different than somebody else's fitness level. So you have to, when you're talking about fatigue, for example, well, do we know that the individual doing the experience has the same relative fitness level? And again, that's a subjective thing. What's relative fitness level like? So there's a lot of factors that it's almost impossible to recreate the same kind of scenario, and then you have to ask yourself how useful can it be if the fitness level is not the same, and it was a cow not a pig, and it was and it was this, and it was like that's the stuff you have to factor in, is how useful will the experiment be when you have so many factors that are outside of your control that you don't know how close the approximate. That's the thing where I struggle with, but
right,
agreed.
So we're still thinking it through, and I think the exercise idea was a really good exercise idea. I just don't know if it's gonna like a lot of people say, this is the hard part. A lot of people are like, I don't know that I could bear to watch that. Like a lot of people won't be able to watch that. It would be disturbing for somebody to watch.
Sure.
It would be disturbing for me to watch. Like I'll be honest with you, it'd be disturbing for me to watch as well. So you would have to have a certain type of person to even kind of watch that and be able to go, okay, now I kind of get it. Because again, your mind's gonna go there and go, oh, this is what was happening to a person, and then you just start getting kind of like heebie-jeebies.
Well, the pig would be deceased already, Lone Tree. That there would be no
right,
no
animal killing at all. But
we wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
no.
Just to clarify for people, it would be done actually at the slaughterhouse. I wouldn't even take it from the slaughterhouse. Yeah. So it would already be killed. I don't know how much I can say, and then drained of the red stuff. Yeah. And then in the case of the cow, skinned, which then I think as long as the leathery skin is off, then the muscle and the bone, because I think that's a factor that people don't think of, is that you will be hitting bone.
Right. Sure.
And
right.
so I think that part should be similar enough.
Most definitely.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you giving us an update. We'll talk to you more about that offline, not on the show, about it, and whether or not we can replicate enough of the, what I'm saying, to do it. So yeah, appreciate the update on that, and we'll.
I welcome feedback. Give me feedback. We can adjust it accordingly.
Okay,
if at all.
Good. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye. Good to see you, Maven.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Hey,
Any
DA,
other? Yeah.
DA, can I steel man something?
Yeah, I'm going to take this thing off your face, though.
All right.
Yeah. There you go. Oops,
Because,
damn it.
you know, we always talk about playing devil's advocates with ourselves, right? I think
Who does
that's
that?
the
Okay, does that.
yeah, I think it's fair, right, to do that. You
Yeah.
have to do it. So let's steel man Coberger's involvement. Okay, is it possible that as a rumor and a theory has gone around quite a bit that he was a cleanup guy, right?
Yeah.
So let's just thought experiment. Let's say he met up with people involved in certain arenas of extracurricular activities through his time being there. You know, maybe at a party or at a bar, whatever. And they, you know, he liked to talk to people a lot of times, corner them and talk about stuff he was interested in. He talks about he studies criminology, et cetera. So is it, and again, I'm just steel manning that argument that he, for obvious reasons, doesn't want to give up the people that he was working with, because we can all speculate where that would lead, right? So that, in fact, he was not involved in the murders, but he was involved in the cleanup. And the reason why that never explicitly came out is because he knows what would happen if he ever, you know, gave anybody up. And so that is the reason why he tried to fight it, and then eventually realized that there was some connection that he had to it, but he wasn't going to roll over on anybody, hence taking the plea deal.
Yeah. Well, so I haven't talked about this for a while, but I've said this before, like a theory. If Coberger advised someone, hey, if you were going to kill somebody, how would you clean up the crime scene? How would you get away with it? Like maybe he wasn't one of the killers, but he knew one of the killers or whatever. And they were like, hey, how would you do this? And gave some advice. And if the law enforcement got a hold of that and they knew that Coberger was involved in some way, because they knew that maybe he dropped somebody off, maybe he picked somebody up, but he didn't go in the house, but they knew he was involved. And so they just pinned it on him because, again, I can't tell you enough. Read the fucking book Framed by John Grisham. Watch how many times people who were just near the crime scene get pinned with it because they were just near the wrong place, wrong time. And it's like, well, we need somebody to go down. So this is going to be our person. And they don't give a shit whether it's the right person or not. It's just who was close, right? So if that happened to Coberger, and if he knew that it was, one example, Aryan Nation or a gang, brotherhood, whatever, where there's people that are in that gang in prison right now with him. You can't tell me that it's not impossible that someone said to him, look, if you just shut the fuck up and take the plea deal, we'll treat you like a king and no one will touch you. You'll have protection in here and no one will ever touch you. And it's the best you can do. Or you can keep fighting it and pushing for somebody else to be found guilty, and you're going to be fucking shanked and beaten to death in prison. What's your choice? And most people would probably pick you know what? I'd rather be treated like a king and treated special on the inside for taking the fall for something I didn't do than to be shanked and beaten to death in prison because you didn't take the fall and you let them keep going after the real people who were on the loose. So that's a plausible scenario to me. Am I crazy?
No, I mean, I think that I'm just trying to look at all the possibilities that where he wasn't a killer, but he had a peripheral connection. And because of who it was that was really involved, and it can go even darker than that. I mean, we can go the corruption angle.
You still got the issue with his car, though. Even if he's a cleanup guy, and even if he knows what he's doing, like, I mean, I don't see how his car, we know that his car doesn't have fog lights, right? So, you know, was he in it? Could he have parked somewhere else and then someone else picked him up or something? I just can't believe that his car was at 1122 and either he was involved in the murder or he was involved in the cleanup, and they didn't find one speck of DNA in his car.
Right.
I have a
'Cause they
big, I
tore
have a
that
big
thing
problem.
apart.
I have a big problem with that. That's a huge problem for me.
And I want to add two more things. So I'm seeing the chat kind of countering me a little bit, and that's fine about the he's not being treated by a king. I'll say one thing about that real quick is everything we're hearing is just that. We're hearing people report on what's happening on the inside. I don't know that I believe that Coberger freaked out about his bananas or Coberger freaked out about something like these are the kind of things that get told to people outside the thing to make you believe a certain thing going on. I don't know what his experience is really like, and I don't think any of us probably does. I will say this though about, again, if there were other perpetrators involved in the crime, and if those people have already proven they're willing to slaughter brutally people, you don't think somebody could have told Coberger, this is going to happen to your family? Like, they've already proven they're willing to do that kind of shit. So again, if he knows there's other perpetrators out there who are willing to slaughter people brutally, and they're like, that's going to be your family next, your sister, your mom, your dad, that's coming for your family if you don't fucking take the plea deal. That's a possibility too. But,
Yeah.
And just to be clear for the people in
Definitely.
the chat,
Definitely.
that's not what I think happened. What I was doing is steel manning the official narrative and trying to find a way in which he was somehow involved and why he might take a plea deal. That's not my top theory.
Right. So, yeah. And I want to clarify that. I kind of went off the rails on your theory. What I'm saying is if he was involved in the sense, like we said, where he was asked how to do a cleanup or brought in for cleanup or whatever. So he knows. And so that's where I kind of went off the rails, because if he knows that he was involved with the killers, but not himself the killer, then that would put him in a situation where it's dangerous for him to rat on the killers because they're still free. Right.
Right.
So,
yep.
And it's funny because so many people tell me, well, if I were me and I knew it was somebody else, I'd be telling it all day long. Would you though?
Yeah.
What if your life and your family's life's in danger for you to do that? Maybe you just
exactly. It's easy to say that when you're not, in the line of fire.
And Patty, to your comment, it may be that in that little scenario, that hypothesis that I gave, he wasn't in the house, but maybe he had interactions with the people who were in the house and there was some connection. And so that's how he got framed up because, of that. And that's, so I don't think that he was in the house personally, but that's just my, philosophizing about it a little bit.
Right. And I, I've said it too many times, but I'll say it one more time. If Brian Coberger's DNA was in the house, I don't know how you get Bill Thompson to say on the stand, we can't place Brian Coberger in the house.
Yeah.
He literally told you, I can't place
bullshit.
Brian Coberger in the house, but you're going to tell us that his DNA was in the house, but then you tell us you can't place him in the house. I would say that if you've got his DNA in the house, you can place Brian Coberger in the house because his DNA is there. Yeah. But maybe you never intended to show anybody that his DNA was in the house because you knew you couldn't present that to a jury. It was bullshit. So
same thing they say about his phone. They very, very crafty, very, very eloquently with wording, played on words in the PCA. We covered it multiple times here. You read the paragraph with the expert. I think it's, I don't know, somewhere in the middle or towards the end there. They don't specifically say. They don't say BK turned his phone off. We have proof that he turned his phone off. It doesn't say that. It's all they say is that their expert or whatever that they have from the FBI believes in this kind of circumstance, the fact that his phone goes off at 2:00 would likely be behavior of someone turning their phone off and turning back on. But I can't stress enough, JJ and Lee were boots on the ground. They were there. They went to that area of Wawa, whatever park, that whole area over there. And they couldn't even call in to the show. They lost cell phone connection multiple times. So they're saying, oh, he turned his phone off. And of course, mainstream media runs with the narrative the same way as they say that he cleaned his car with bleach. Oh, BK, he turned his phone off. Yeah, BK, he's so smart about you know, he's going for a PhD in you know, criminology and all this stuff. But the idiot turns his phone off. Like, I mean, he's like, think. I mean, I know people do these things and you're like, oh, well, someone makes a mistake. Maybe he just made a mistake. It's not a mistake. His phone, his phone never was shut off. All right. And I still would like to see, again, we've mentioned it. There's supposedly some kind of photo or something that he took of, we haven't seen it. Something about the meteor shower or the sky or whatever. And the Cellbrite FBI husband and wife couple there that have come on and they've been on a bunch of different podcasts and doing their speeches say like, oh, the photo doesn't mean anything because it could be doctored. And if he turned his phone off, how you know, exactly. And that their whole logic, I use the logic against them. Exactly. If your phone is turned off, how can you take a photo? You can't. If your phone has no power, you can't take a photo, right? Well,
right.
What if his photo just disconnected? So it appears that his phone was turned off. So he did disconnect from the tower, but you would still be able to take a photo.
Exactly. And when did he have time to doctor the photo? I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
I mean, you know, did he automatically sit there and think, oh, I took this picture. Shit. Now I got to doctor it all up. And
yeah, and they pissed me off too. And then all of a sudden they're like experts at behavior. Like these guys they're supposed to be experts at cell phone data, not at behavior. So they're giving all kinds of analysis. Oh my God, look, he took photos of himself. He took his shirt off and he's giving a thumbs up and whatever.
Yeah,
he was in the process. He lost a bunch of weight. There are lots of people that I know, a ton of people who take selfies and take photos. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
What I don't understand is, you know, everybody says pretty much at 4 a.m. Well, then why did they deliberately ignore the car that pulls in at 4 freaking a.m.?
Right.
They ignore that car. They ignore the third car that pulls in, but they decide to go after just the middle car that pulled. Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
No.
And then another big thing, I know there's like a million things we can point out. A big problem that I have with the video that, you know, I know that they do fuckery with the video and the audio and everything, but a big problem I have is that document. I don't know what number it is, but the one where he's basically describing Tisdale and Rosenthal. Why do we not see their car? We don't see their car driving around. I mean, they said they went around like whatever multiple times. We never see their car.
No.
There's one video where you see their car.
Well, but I mean, we should see their car like kind of circling around, and we don't really see that.
Molly said she saw their car in the 1122, like when she was parking in there. So why do we not see it? Because it's the white car they're claiming to be Brian's.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just astounding the way that they have lied at every turn. This is why there has to be consequences.
There is, yeah.
For these types of actions, because it's just going to keep happening if we don't hold them accountable for this shit.
Well,
and I'm sorry, but if this happened to one of my kids or any, you know, anyone in my life, I want them to do their job, the job that they swore to do, not this kind of thing.
Well, the free speech warriors, the ones that were screaming about free speech, are now the ones censoring what the public can get access to.
Yeah,
which is pretty ironic and suspicious, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think there's too much fuckery in this case. to be just by incompetence. I just don't see how that's possible.
No, you're right. You're right. And there's some stuff in this case that we're never going to get. We know that Dylan did a 5th interview with Homeland Security. I mean, she almost makes reference to it in one of the interviews she does. We're never going to see it. We're never going to know what was said in that interview. So how many other interviews and other stuff that we're never going to get?
Like Brian Coberger's. Why can't we see Brian Coberger's? I mean,
why aren't we seeing anything from Pennsylvania?
Right.
Well,
exactly.
Lisa Hawkins is speaking my language in the chat, which is, she said it's called distraction. And I've brought this up with numerous cases we've talked about, that a lot of things happen for other reasons. And there's usually, I say it to the point where people are probably sick of hearing me say it. Don't look at the thing that comes out right away, what happened. Look at what happens as a result of it.
Right. Well, we know there was a whole big drug operation going on, because they make reference to O'Neill. O'Neill is an FBI guy who worked with drug task force. That's like his main job. And he was, why would someone that's part of a drug task force, why would he be interviewing people in a homicide case with 4 college students? So
yeah.
And also,
I know he's the one. He apparently was a handler for Farley. I know that one video where people say, some people say they hear Farley, I hear you, or something like that. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but whether Farley is there or he's not there, O'Neill is still involved. His name is in the documents. So,
yeah, that is very true. And that's the thing too. You know, they want to villainize us for looking into these things and call us, you know, conspiracy theorists, and that, when, you know, especially, you know, channels like ours and a lot of the other channels, we're using the documents that they're putting out. We're using the pictures that they're releasing. How do they call it a conspiracy when we're using the official documents and stuff that are being put out?
That's all they could do. They didn't expect the case to get to this magnitude, and they didn't think that people would be foiling, you know, getting video from traffic light cameras and all kinds of stuff that shows, you know, BK's suspect vehicle 1 is not BK's car. We know that now,
right?
So
yep, yeah, definitely.
It's just, there's just too many things that, in my opinion, still point to some sort of a conspiracy.
It is definitely. I mean, I can't, even with a cleanup, you still think you would see some kind of footprints or something, right? Some kind of, like, you know, at somewhere, or some kind of faint footprints. And all we see is what? There's like one footprint of probably Dylan, right, in the doorway there with her shoes. And then there's one or two footprints, I guess, right, of Murphy, of you know, the paw, and that's it. Like, how, like, all the, like, where is everyone else's footprints? I mean, there's blood all over the place.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and there was some wacky stuff going on with the dog, that's for sure.
I was just going to say that they want to say that Dylan wants to say that Murphy was running all over the place. How did they even find him? He was lost. He was barking and running away. But we hear him on the audio, and he sounds like he's pretty much in the same spot. He's not barking over here, then barking over here, then getting distant, and you can't hear his bark as well. You know what I'm saying? He sounds like he's kind of in the same spot. So what is she talking about?
I mean, the framing angle is in play for me. That's one of the theories that I feel pretty strongly about. You know, you've heard my other theories about him working potentially with the feds in some way, shape, or form. But
Right.
we know people get framed up. We know what happens.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
If
every
it's
day.
if it's in the process, in the service rather, of covering up something that they don't want the public to know about, like the school doesn't want to get out, and yeah, could a guy that they had interactions with in the past have been framed up? Yeah, it's very possible. I
Yeah.
see that as a top. It's one of the top ones on the list for me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
when you go through some of those cases in Framed, when you read those chapters, some of those cases, they even after they have evidence that comes out that proves that the person is not guilty or couldn't have done it, that some of them are still screwed. They still can't, some of them still don't get out. Right? There's one case in Pennsylvania, right? That woman who was like killed in the house, I think, and they thought it was like a bunch of military guys, I think, or something, and they had a bunch of evidence that proved that they weren't involved, and they're still trying to like appeal or whatever. I think it's from Pennsylvania.
There was so many.
I know.
I'm only halfway through that book.
Yeah, I'm like halfway through also.
And for regular people, it's shocking that, because I think we're all inclined to not want to accept the level of corruption that exists. We all know it's there. We all know about corruption. But when you read it, even on smaller scales in local police departments and things, that you could actually try to put somebody in prison that you don't have strong evidence against. And even after you find evidence that's exculpatory, you still go with that person and you let them do time. It's sickening.
Yeah.
What I find interesting is they tried to say when they kicked in the door at Brian Coberger's house that all of his family members just sat there and Brian Coberger was the only one who took off running. And I'm like, he first of all worked in crime, criminal psychology, and cloud forensics. So that's what he did for a living. If somebody was kicking in my door and I didn't know who it was, you bet your ass I'm taking off running.
Do you remember where that statement came from, Logan? I was going to bring that up again the other day, and I completely lost.
Who said that?
Because I have a reason why I'm asking.
I don't remember exactly who said. I just heard it the other day too. Again,
I know it was either Steve or somebody that was doing.
It might have been Steve.
Okay.
It might have been Steve.
Reason why I'm saying this is because I don't think it happened. I don't think that ever happened. I think that was just one more little piece of propaganda to make it look like he ran. I don't think he did. I don't think anybody moved. I think everybody froze and said, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean?
Because Christy then said that he was sitting at the kitchen table with gloves on. So which one is it? But I even thought saying him running sounded ridiculous anyways.
And I think Anne, if I can remember, because I remember her making a statement about him cleaning the bathroom. The gloves he was wearing or something had something to do with him cleaning the bathroom, that he wasn't. I think she even stated that he wasn't actually even sorting garbage or something. Don't quote me on that one, you guys, but I don't think it was anything like what they gave us. That was all part of the propaganda to make us say, why would he ran? No, he didn't.
Mhm.
Where did he run to? The house is surrounded by people. Did he run to his bedroom and crawl under the bed? What the hell? You know what I mean? I mean, I think these things are just more bullshit. Like Steve making the statement that they had Brian Coberger on video while going in and out of the house. Stop. Go ahead, Robin. I'm sorry.
Right. Oh, no, that's okay. I just want to let everyone know Lee is working on something. He's going to have an update very shortly here. So I just didn't want to, because I saw someone in the chat was wondering where Lee went. He's fine. Everything's okay. He's working on having kind of like a live update here. So he will be back very shortly. But so just wanted to put everyone's worry and concern at rest. So he will he'll be back. So
but
But
To continue,
yeah, good.
I was just gonna say to continue is what we were just saying though. Like they're still pushing these things too. They said that he was sorting garbage, that he was seen putting it in his neighbor's garbage can. None of that's true.
Never happened.
That when he went home, that he was seen cleaning his car with bleach. That's not true. All of these things are put in place on purpose to get people to believe that Brian did something wrong. And if you subtract all those things from the equation, what do you have left? Nothing. There's nothing that proves or shows even remote guilt to this guy. He didn't run. He didn't put garbage in the neighbor's garbage can. He didn't clean his car with bleach. And all these other, there was no connection, even though the two lead detectives said, we really wish there would have been, which is a weird comment to make, but okay. The thumbs up photograph was talked about, and Gilbertson said there's like hundreds of those photographs that he's done like that in the past. So that has no bearing on anything. Every bit of this stuff, all of this stuff was put in place on purpose so that people would see Brian Coberger as a specific type person. And again, like I said, if you subtract all of those things and then some from the equation, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you gotta look at is more of, you know, like what JJ always says, the bigger picture. You got to look at, and this has to do with the psychology and stuff, the pattern of behavior. And this is how they solve, you know, how you're supposed to solve crime and how you figure things out. So one of the big things to me, and I said early on, it's not about his phone going off at, you know, he supposedly turned his phone off at 2 a.m. I want to see his phone records from the last 6 months, because as far as I know, he's into driving, right? And this wasn't the first time he went to Wawa, however you say it, the park. So park. Is there other times in previous months and weeks where he went driving that shows that his phone went off? It should show that.
Right.
But they don't want to show us that. They don't want, you know, you have Ashley Jennings lying and saying there's no that. So if you look at the document, they got 3,800 timing advance records from everyone, but apparently they weren't able to get Brian Kohlberger's timing advance records. It's like bullshit.
Yeah. And Bill said himself that they don't know that Brian turned his phone off after they pushed that for 2.5 years.
Yeah.
Almost 3 years saying he turned his phone off. He turned his phone off. He comes out at the end and says, well, we don't know that he turned it off, but it seems that way. That's not, you can't give an answer as a prosecutor to the world and say something like that and think that it's okay at that point. It's not.
Well, think about this.
I would be furious if I was any one of these families. Like absolutely furious at all the inconsistencies and the lies, because, you know, my child is not getting justice.
Right. And like I said earlier, when I had the show with the custody queens and Ron, we talked about this, and I said, from the moment that they kicked in his windows and his doors and put him in handcuffs and flew him back to Idaho, all that bullshit, it was all propaganda from day one. And I feel now at this point now, guys, I'm very comfortable thinking and feeling this. This was never going to go to trial, as I've said before. I think that they planned on prosecuting him via trial by media, okay, which is exactly what they did by running the propaganda bullshit, by using all of the Datelines and Nightlines and 2020s and 60 Minutes and all those other bullshit shows to show nothing but negative Brian Coberger, period. Just negative. There's nothing positive. They made sure they hacked all that out, and we proved that. Willie from Truth Nation Uncensored has had multiple interviews with people now saying that when they talk to media, that the media cut out anything positive they said. The interviews that we have one interview with somebody that knew Brian Coberger, and it's all negative with what you can understand of it, because the guy barely speaks English. Okay. It's all negative and weird, the whole thing, but that's the only one we've gotten. There's nobody else that they could have talked to that Brian worked with or knew. It's all done on purpose. Trial by media. He was convicted in the media, and he was convicted in the public opinion. Yeah. And they knew that, and that was it. They were done.
They tried to say that he was an incel and that he has this like deep hatred for women and all this stuff, that he wasn't into dating or anything like that, and it's not true.
No,
Go ahead, Robin.
I was just going to say, which Howard Bloom knows, because he talked to the woman who supposedly was his girlfriend. So you don't have a girlfriend or even a potential love interest if you're an incel and someone who returns those feelings.
Right.
I mean, and Howard Bloom knew that, and he didn't put that in his first book.
No, because it didn't.
He didn't have to reveal her identity.
Yeah,
but he knows her. He knows her.
And this other guy that knows him from years ago, whatever his name is, and I know there's like one or two guys that have said that they used to hang out with him, or they were into the drugs or whatever. They said that he went to parties and he was drinking and
talking about
that
girls.
doesn't sound like an incel to me. I'm sorry.
No,
he might maybe he's a little autistic, or he's on the spectrum, or maybe he's a little quirky, but it doesn't sound like he's an incel to me. Someone who's going to parties.
No,
an incel doesn't go to a pool party and sit down between two women together and try to hit on both of them. Okay, not even close.
Right, and wind up with 2 phone numbers, nonetheless.
Well,
Absolutely.
the thing is, the question you always, in my opinion, you always have to ask is, why was the mainstream media all in lockstep? That had to be coordinated.
Yeah.
You can't, that doesn't happen without coordination. And fake stories being put out.
Yeah. Well, JJ, as you said, you're accurate. It's definitely true. The CIA and FBI, whatever, like they control the main, the higher up, they control what gets released to the mainstream. So if they wanted a certain narrative pushed, oh yeah, this guy was cleaning his car with the bleach, and people, you hear things enough times. I mean, I can't tell you how many people, here that I work with, but I just mentioned, Idaho 4, and they're like, oh yeah, that guy was guilty. He was stalking the girls and whatever. I'm like, no, that's
yeah.
amazing.
I mean, and the thing is, like, the media coordination is always a red flag for me.
Yeah,
because that implies to me that there is something bigger, someone higher up from the media that is coordinating the narrative. And just for people who don't know, people might know this in the chat, the CIA has dominion over the FBI. They're the ones who control DARPA. The CIA are the ones that basically oversee the NSA. They're like a hub, and they are connected to the banking cartel. It literally, the CIA was started by Wall Street. So that's why I look at scenarios where I see a very coordinated effort to shape a narrative, and I think fuckery.
Yeah. Welcome back,
everybody. Thank you. I am. First of all, I apologize. I had multiple phone calls in today about the situation in Letcher County, and one of them was to our friend John Ray in New York, an attorney that I've had on the show several times, who's involved with the Shannon Gilbert case and others. He just returned my call, and when I saw it was John Ray calling me back, I was like, I'm going to interrupt my live to take John Ray's call because it's very late back there in New York. So we spent some considerable time talking about it. I'll fill you in on the details a little bit later, but really, really good call was John Ray talking about the situation in Letcher County and what probably is going to happen and those kind of things from his perspective as an attorney. And it was a golden opportunity to answer that call because he's late at night on the East Coast right now. So he was just ending his day. So anyways, I appreciate everybody allowing me that time to be rude and cut out of my own show, but I figured it'll pay off in the end because you'll get to hear some really cool stuff when I can kind of formulate what we just talked about. So
yeah, definitely.
Big stuff.
Very good.
Big stuff. So I'm completely clueless. What the hell did you guys talk about? Did you guys keep talking about Idaho 4? Did you move on to something else
Yep.
entirely?
No, we were talking about Idaho 4.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So are you guys at a breaking point where I can maybe kind of talk a little bit about Letcher County and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Real quick.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. The reason why we're hot and heavy on this is again, Sabrina Atkins has a federal case against basically Ben Steins and the sheriff's department and stuff like that for what happened to her. Again, Ben Steins was convicted of criminal acts of sodomy and rape and of Sabrina Atkins, and that has already been done, and he's already served time for it. But now comes the civil part of it, where she's suing, entities like the sheriff's department and a correctional facility and stuff like that for their role in just allowing these kind of things to happen. To be honest with you, I've had phone calls. Again, I've had phone calls into the FBI. I've had phone calls into attorneys and stuff like that. And it's more of an uphill battle than you think. And let me tell you what's depressing about this in a way. People who are indigent in this country and don't have money for things like that, they're fighting a huge uphill battle. It becomes kind of the little person's word against a ginormous system. I guess if I were to boil down the phone call that I had would be, these are people trying to fight a massive system. And the chances that they're going to see what we might call justice are pretty slim, unfortunately. And that's depressing, right? Because how do you fight a system that is designed to protect itself? And so, I'm not giving up hope. We're gonna try to do what we can to bring attention to this case and what's happening. Yeah, I got more of the nuance, I guess, of the legality of what's happening. John explained to me on the phone what's probably happening in the federal case right now and what's likely to happen, and some predictions talking about him. He wasn't aware of the case, so I'm not gonna repeat his words because he doesn't know enough about the case to be 100%, But he gave me ideas, ballpark ideas of what's likely to happen, and so we're gonna take that under advice. Talk as our team how we can help these ladies out in Letcher County, what we can and can't do, what's realistic, and try to do the best we can to shed light on what's happening with the fuckery, and as I say, in that county, which is a complete mess. So kudos one more time. I don't know that John Ray will catch this live or rewatch it on replay. The guy's busy all the time. He's like it, but I guess from me to John Ray and his team, how amazing is it that we are blessed with being able to get a phone call from John Ray in the middle of our show and talk law, free. And it was great. John is a super nice guy. He's a super nice guy.
He is.
And he believes in the mission. In fact, he may not appreciate me saying this, but I don't think he would have a problem. He said, "Look, I'd like nothing better to get on a plane and fly to Kentucky and go fight this case, but he needs another pro bono case like a fucking hole in the head. He's up to his ass in pro bono cases. He doesn't need another one." So there was a part of him that was intrigued, like, "Wow, I'd like to go there and take that on myself," but he's busy.
Yeah, it would be right up his alley too. Something like that.
It would be an area that he knows a lot about.
Yeah, he's right in the middle of some Epstein crap. So
yeah. And he's taking on another client. I won't. In fact, I don't know exactly who it is. He just told me he just met with somebody else taking another client that's going to be involved, preferably with the Long Island serial killer case. So there's another case he's taking on in addition to Shannon Gilbert's. So big stuff still coming, and we're watching John Ray's fight for Shannon Gilbert's truth in that story as well. So yeah, good stuff coming down the road if you like watching true crime, which I think you do because you're here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's all right.
Okay.
Can't say that I can't say I'm surprised that there's another client for Long Island serial killer.
No, I think we're going to find a lot of those coming out of the woodwork.
Yeah. All right. Shall we do close, or do we need to address anything else?
No, I don't know of
I'm
anything
not
else.
talking about the clothes on your body. I'm talking about closing the show. All right, let's go around the horn. Let's go Robin 1-1, JJ Dago, and we'll give Logan the final piece before I say goodnight. So how about that? Robin, what do you got?
Well, once again, thank you to everyone for coming out tonight. And if you're not here live and you're watching on the replay, we appreciate you just as much. Thank you to all of the mods in all three of the chats. Thank you to everything that you guys do for all of us. We are blessed to have incredible teams that support us each and every day. And, we have to keep pressing forward. We can't let off the gas. And it's too important to be fighting for our rights and also to be supporting and uplifting the people who are being oppressed by the people in power who are supposed to be the ones protecting them. And it really is falling to the rest of us to help protect one another. So, but thank you again to everyone for coming out, and I hope everyone has a wonderful night.
Perfect. Well said. Thank you very, very much. And 1-1, what do you have for close?
Thanks to everyone, the great people who are part of all of our communities, the turtles, the meatballs, the denizens, a great panel. As always, our amazing mods, Amanda, Penny, whoever else, Big Boss, Rhonda in the back. You don't go on. We love all of you, and we appreciate, your enthusiasm, and thanks to the guests that came up, and we love you guys coming on the panel, asking us questions. That comment earlier, you don't need to be afraid. We're not gonna bite your head off. As long as you come on and you're respectful, we give you the same respect back. So we like to have a debate and a dialogue. So that's how we get to the truth. We put our ideas together and come, fight the good fight. I couldn't believe some of the stuff that I heard earlier on the fence rest. Had some of the women that came forward. It was about like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour show. But maybe, you guys get a chance, put some of it on if you can't hear all of it. And it's just amazing what has gone on with some of these women. It just really baffles your mind. And here in 2026, some of this really like archaic, just all like crazy stuff that's like going on. And it makes you really think, sit back and think like, how could this be going on in today's day and age? But it is. You see all this stuff with the human trafficking and the child trafficking. These are real things going on. I mean, it's really sad. And hopefully some kind of difference can be made. But all of you guys are great, and we love all of you. So I will end here with a movie quote.
Oh yeah.
Here we go. You touch me, he dies. If you're not in the air in 30 seconds, he dies.
He dies.
You come back in, he dies.
Snake Plissken. That is one of my favorite movies right there. That is Escape from New York with Kurt Russell.
You got it.
I love that movie. Oh my God, what a throwback. I got a prize.
I was muted.
You were muted. You probably were all over.
I said it right at the same time you said it.
Well, there you go. You need like a handicap. You need like a 10.
Yeah, you get them. You get them all.
I am a fucking handicap.
All right, JJ, what do you got?
Thank you, advocates, denizens, meatballs, the great mods. I think we'll have a lot of things to talk about in the future because I believe there will be a lot of high profile, quote unquote, true crime events that are going to be happening in the future. You got to keep the peasants distracted. So I think we can have that to look forward to distract us from all the fuckery. So on that cheery note, thank you everybody for hanging out as always. And I'll be back Thursday. So I won't be here tomorrow.
Thanks for bringing us down with the we're going to have more fuckery in our future. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It's par for the course. And so, yeah, I'm looking forward. I guess I'm looking forward to it. I guess that's what we do. All right, Diego, what do you got?
Thank you guys all so very much for joining us tonight. And thank you to all of the amazing moderators, all of you. And within this giant, amazing community, I appreciate each and every one of you so very much, as always. It's always a great conversation. Never fails. I always look forward to the next one. So thank you all for that. Guys, don't forget to love yourselves and love each other. Don't change anything. As I always say, you guys are the beautiful people. And thank you all again for having me here. God bless and good night.
Of course. Yeah. I love having you guys on the show. It's been a great addition to our panel. Everybody seems to love it. Hopefully we get to keep doing this for as long as it's working out for everybody. And I hope that it goes long. And Logan, what do you got for the close?
Thank you everybody for being here. Thanks mods. Thank you Bianca for the gifted. Do something nice for yourself today. Be kind, but more importantly, be kind to your animals. Also, I'm really excited for a bunch of shows we have coming up in the next week or two with some guests and Dago's channel and our channel, and just really excited. Excellent conversation tonight. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we will see you very soon.
All right. Thank you very much. And again, I apologize to everybody for stepping out of my own live show for quite a bit of time. Hopefully you understand. We had a lot of phone calls in the air trying to get help in that messed up county of Lecher County and what we can and can't do, trying to get a handle on that. So what's cool is we've made friends, right? We've made friends in law enforcement. We've made friends in civil liberties attorneys, criminal defense attorneys. Now we have friends in high places, which is very, very cool. And as we continue to work that, we'll hopefully get better at what we do. And so, yeah, thank you all for being part of the show. Can't wait to see you again next night with most of our panel, not all of our panel, but most of our panel. And yeah, stay safe out there and take a mental break if you have to. Then come right back here. Take it easy, everybody. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.